Single-player games are the perfect way to relax for nearly everyone, no matter what types of genres they're into. Some of us only play strictly narrative-driven games and want to experience the story, while other people prefer a more gameplay-driven experience. Xbox Game Pass has a perfect subscription for players looking for a wide variety of games under one library, and the vast majority of these games are single-player games. This is Jay from Keyboard Gaming, and today I'll list some of the best single-player games you can currently find on Game Pass. These games were selected based on their uniqueness, replay value, and overall impact it left on me after playing. So, let's jump into the list. We're going to kick things off on the indie front and talk about Forager, an excellent single-player experience inspired by games like Zelda, Terraria, and even Minecraft. Forager is a peaceful game about foraging your own world. You are free to dig, destroy, carve, wreck, gather, and craft things to make your foraging more efficient. The game doesn't stop there though. It offers interesting puzzles, secrets, and NPCs that the player can interact with. Around the time that I got my Steam Deck, I started playing this game alongside some other people who had Steam Decks, and even though it's a single-player only game, we still had a great time playing alongside each other. If you don't have a Steam Deck though, you can always play this game on Game Pass, so I highly recommend it. Next up is one of the most popular games from the last decade, Skyrim. This is a game that's gotten so famous over time that there's hardly anyone who hasn't heard of this game at some point. I personally have sunk hundreds of hours into it, and I can safely say that it's one of the best open world RPG games that have ever been released. Many games have tried to replicate this experience, but I personally haven't found any other game with this amount of replay value. The open world of Skyrim is brimming with adventure, characters, and places for the player to discover. You can roam the world and fight dragons, clear dungeons, play story missions, and enjoy massive amounts of other places to explore and things to do. Even if you set out exploring with no set destination in mind, I guarantee you'll stumble upon something interesting in a matter of seconds. The game is available on Game Pass, and if you've never played it before, it should be a must-play title on your list. Even though it looks a bit graphically dated now, you can look past that once you see how much content there is. Another game I've put hundreds of hours into is Mount & Blade 2 Bannerlord, a fun strategy action RPG with a single-player sandbox campaign. The campaign in this game is very dynamic, which means the enemies you face are slightly different in each playthrough, which increases the game's replayability. Games like this are kind of dangerous for me to get into, because if I ever get involved with trying to conquer the world, I'll be playing for 8 hours straight without even looking at the clock. The game offers a complex combat system that's easy to learn but difficult to master. This game includes simulated battles where hundreds of NPCs can be on screen at a single time. There are multiplayer modes and full modding support here as well, so you can enjoy some insane mods like the Lord of the Rings mod. Overall, Mount & Blade 2 is an excellent single-player game, and you can play that all on Game Pass. Fallout 4 is yet another open world game from Bethesda, but once again it's one of the best options available right now. A lot of people seem to enjoy Fallout 3 or especially New Vegas more than 4, but as someone who enjoys the more modern look to games, I personally like the 4th game better. If dragons and ancient beasts aren't your thing in Skyrim, you can enjoy the world of Fallout 4 and fight mutated creatures and humans instead. You'll come across different characters and have them follow you as allies. I think one of the most appealing aspects of the Fallout series is walking through the ruins of what was once civilization and facing unique creatures and enemies. I personally really enjoy Fallout 4, and I highly recommend it if you want to play an RPG shooter game. LEGO games were a huge part of my childhood, and the LEGO Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga definitely gave me some of the same feelings that I had playing the original LEGO games. You get to play through all of your favorite Star Wars moments, and a lot of the ones you don't care about from the sequel trilogy, as well as play as tons of characters and uncover secrets in an open world. The game was very well received, especially by fans of the original LEGO Star Wars games, which is pretty surprising considering how hard it is to please Star Wars fans. There were puzzles and collectibles scattered throughout the 23 planets of the game's 30-ish hour-long campaign. The fact that you can explore an open-world Star Wars game and play as your favorite characters makes the game worth it. Players can upgrade their characters, join dogfights, fight with lightsabers, and lots of other cool stuff. It's crazy how much content the developers packed into this game, and the end result is one of the best LEGO games ever made. Overall, it's an amazing game for Star Wars and LEGO fans alike, and I highly recommend it. If you're in the mood for some mindless, single-player carnage, Doom Eternal is definitely the game for you. Doom Eternal dominates the industry when it comes to first-person gory combat, and the game is one of the best fast-paced shooters ever made. One of the best parts of this game is the amazing music score done by Mick Gordon. The Doomslayer's arsenal has been growing with each game, and now he has everything from grappling hooks to chainsaws and flamethrowers. The rooms are filled with countless hordes of enemies to destroy, and if you feel like it's too easy, you could up the difficulty for an even harder experience. The campaign should take about 15 hours and offers a decent conclusion to the Doomslayer's story. If you've never played a Doom game before, this is still an amazing Doom game to start with. Up next is Hollow Knight, a unique 2D action-adventure game with fully hand-drawn visuals and a vibrantly created world. The game lets you upgrade your character with skills and abilities that constantly change how you progress through the game. You'll be fighting off more than 130 different enemy types across the interconnected worlds. The fights will be well balanced, and you'll unlock new ways to traverse the world as well as new combat abilities. I haven't played this as much as other games on the list, but I think it's a memorable 2D adventure game on Game Pass, and it's a great game to dive into. Ori and the Blind Forest has gotten so many awards for its phenomenal soundtrack and hand-painted art style that I'm sure you've heard some sort of praise about it by now. It's an action platformer with a gripping story and unique levels. This is yet another game that I never played until I got a Steam Deck, and I was blown away when I first played it. Even the opening sequence alone was enough to draw me into this game. The game becomes even more enjoyable as you unlock new abilities and areas. Ori and the Blind Forest caught me by surprise since I went in without any expectations, and I'm very happy that I gave it a shot. This is definitely a game that everyone should check out at some point. Tunic is another game that I played through in the Steam Deck. It's an incredible isometric action game where you play as a little fox on an adventure. The game takes you across forests, labyrinths, and even dark ruins. The gameplay is reminiscent of the original Zelda games, but with a lot of unique twists to the gameplay. You can use combat moves like parrying, dodging, and striking enemies to deal with most threats in the game. As the fox uncovers the mystery behind the hidden treasures, you will also gradually unlock new pages for the game's manual, which is designed to look like an old game magazine. This manual will slowly reveal more information and lore about the world. The forests and other levels are interconnected and provide a seamless experience where nothing feels out of place. It's an amazing feeling when you walk through a shortcut you've unlocked and realize that you could have gone that way the entire time and you were walking past it for the last 10 hours. Tunic is one of the most fun games I've played in the last year, and I recommend it to anyone who likes to explore and solve puzzles. The last game on this list is going to be Soma. This is a single-player sci-fi horror game set below the ocean, and it has one of the most horrifying conclusions in all of gaming history. The premise revolves around you trying to survive on a station underneath the Atlantic Ocean, where machines and dangerous AI have taken over. You must scavenge for supplies and other survivors to escape this deadly and terrifying station. Soma is made by the creators of Amnesia, and if you know anything about that series, then you already know how good they are at creating horror games. This game had me on edge the entire time, and I could never really predict what tense situation the game would put me in next. If you'd enjoy a nice dose of existential dread, then Soma is definitely the game for you. These were our top picks for the best single-player games on Game Pass. If you found this video helpful, leave a like and subscribe to Keyboard Gaming for more videos just like this. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.